Dragon Ball creator Akira Toriyama passes away at age 68 for a reported acute subdural hematoma. So, in a moment that truly no fan ever really fathomed would come, Dragon Ball creator Akira Toriyama has passed on to the other world. Dear friends and partners, we are deeply saddened to inform you that manga creator Akira Toriyama passed away on March 1st due to acute subdural hematoma. He was in age of 68. It's our deep regret that he still had several works in the middle of creation with great enthusiasm. Also, he would have many more things to achieve. However, he has left many manga titles and works of art to this world. Thanks to the support of so many people around the world, he has been able to continue his creative activities for over 45 years. We hope that Akira Toriyama's unique world of creation continues to be loved by everyone for a long time to come. We inform you this sad news with gratefulness for your kindness during his lifetime. Funeral service was held with his family and very few relatives, following his wishes for tranquility. We respectfully inform you that we would not accept flowers, condolence gifts, visiting, offerings, and others. Also, we ask you to refrain from conducting interviews with his family. Future plans for a commemorative gathering are not yet decided. We will let you know when it's confirmed. We deeply thank you for your understanding and support as always. March 8th, 2024. So we got the news March 7th because Japan is in the future by a day. And then, so this was by Bird Studio and Capsule Corporation, Tokyo. So Toriyama, his name means, and it literally uses the kanji for bird mountain. Toriyama. That's what Bird Studio is referenced to. His name is Toriyama, right? And then the Capsule Corporation thing, I was just like, when I read that the first time, I had to think back, like, didn't we cover a guy who tried to like get like wrestle the rights of Dragon Ball or whatever for some reason? I wonder if he's gonna get them now. Like and it also made me think of that episode of Dragon Ball Super where Monica Rial as Bulma pronounces Capsule Corp as Capsule Corps because she's a dumb idiot who thinks that the Marine Corps and Corp, being short for corporation, are the same word.
They're not even spelled the same.
Mm-mm. Because Corps in the Marine Corps is CORPS, and it's a French word where the P and S is silent that refers to a body or entity, like a group, right? Obviously, Capsule Corp is in reference to Capsule Corporation. Anyway, now that I'm done raging about bullshit, so for me, I would say that I think people forget just how much like anime now is different from anime in the 90s, right? In terms of like it's mainstream now, right? And sucks. No, but back then I would say like Dragon Ball Z is the gateway drug, even more so than Pokemon for a lot of people. You know what I mean? Like people will go home and
thought it was a cartoon. Like
people will watch Pokemon and then they'll go watch a Disney movie. People watch Dragon Ball Z and then they go watch Elfen Lied. You know what I mean? Like the jump was a little bit more, you know, like you would go harder into anime rather than, you know, circle watch the toilet a little longer. You know?
Add to the fact that, you know, every show, including some anime that was on at the time, was episodic. Dragon Ball was the one where you had to be like, you missed a few episodes and like, wait, it's continuous? What did I miss? Holy crap!
I mean,
where are we?
Yu-Gi-Oh wasn't really episodic.
No, absolutely not.
But Yu-Gi-Oh was a lot later too.
Yeah.
So my memory with Dragon Ball Z is as a little kid thinking Raccoon was this weird guy. I was like, what on earth is this? He had like barely any teeth because Goku had just knocked the lights out of him. And he was missing teeth. And I was like, what in the world is this show? And so I was watching Dragon Ball Z and Sailor Moon. Didn't think much of it. You know, people would talk about it years later and, you know, all that other reverence that we were just discussing of just what an impact it made on people. But then years later, I'm talking with my friend in high school and it's like, oh yeah, I'm reading Dragon Ball. What are you reading? Dragon Ball. It came out before Z. It's the prequel. it made so much more sense because, like every other kid, I thought it was Dragon Ball Z, and it had this weird beginning. Like he was just some guy and his kid. And I didn't really think of that there would be a prequel to it, and the fact that I knew that there was a previous chapters to it.
Yeah.
It had made so much more sense, and it made me fall in love with Dragon Ball more so than Dragon Ball Z because I prefer Dragon Ball over Z. But I couldn't believe it. I was like, "What? Bulma's? Oh my gosh, she's flashing an old man!" What?
Yeah, I was gonna say as soon as you brought up the comic, I was thinking like, I think Bulma's might be the first pair of tits I ever saw. Like,
right.
I remember going to the library as a kid. Like somebody would pull out like a specific volume with Yamcha flipping the bird in super high detail, and you show like this was like elementary school. I was like, oh my god, whoa, wow.
Yeah, and I also remember when when I had, because I had the comics that were like American comics, right? They're not like the Tonkabon. And I distinctly remember there was a specific time where my mom learned that they used the word damn in it. And I had to go through half of those comics and take a black marker and cover up the word damn on each goddamn speech bubble that mentioned. I was like, you got me fucking kidding me. Like,
I mean, that's terrible. I feel bad for you, but like, she could have also been that mom who had you throw out the books.
I mean, I guess I dodged a bullet, and since I was collecting Dragon Ball Z and not the like actual Dragon Ball,
because it got to a point with One Piece with my folks where they wanted to like, where my mom wanted to question like, should we throw out his like comic books? Like, what's in these books? But I was like,
can we
leaving
get your camera on for just a moment, Greenline?
What for? Yeah, sure.
Looking behind Greenline, I feel like maybe his mom regrets not
throwing out. I can't. I have no idea what you did. I have no idea what you did.
I just remember coming home from school, Konami, back when like the uncut DBZ was on Saturday nights, and watching that then with the kick-ass ending song. I don't think it was Rock the Dragon. It might have been something else. But I just remember there was this badass ending song. I was like, all rock. And then fast forwarding to like senior year of high school. Now this was before I actually got into anime. I can't remember what the reason, but for whatever reason I started Netflixing disc by disc the Orange Bricks. And coming home from school, watching the marathon mode, and then rushing that shit to the post office so it could be sent out that day, so I could get another one in like 2 days. And also watching the Funimation trailers at the start and at the like every 6th disc, because they had the collection of trailers on the last disc for a different anime, and having that sort of be like my almost like an appetizer or sampler platter for different kinds of anime that was out there, and some of them stuck in my mind, like Samurai 7, for instance, or something.
I find it so crazy. Like, sorry, keep going. I'll save it.
And basically, like I remember getting all the way through to the end of the Cell games or the Cell Saga and the start of Boo, and I was like, I don't want to watch the Boo arc again. I fucking hate that arc.
So, I think it's kind of nuts because when it comes to like most people watched Dragon Ball on TV, right? On Cartoon Network. Well, I didn't have Cartoon Network as a kid, right? Like I found out way late in my childhood that Cartoon Network was on channel 81, and it was like static and snowy. You could barely make it out. But we found out, my brother and I, that if you played the one in the kitchen, like one of them had terrible sound and the other one had terrible video. So we would turn it up full blast in the kitchen and watch it in the living room, with the one in the kitchen being what provided our sound. Like that's how we watched Cartoon
There wasn't
Network.
any lag. There wasn't.
Oh,
any lag.
it was a disaster, but that's what it took to watch Cartoon Network, right?
Oh,
Now,
okay.
when it came
Fair
to
enough.
watching Dragon Ball, though, I watched Dragon Ball on VHS. Like, I collected the VHS tapes before I even had Cartoon Network as an option, you know? And I just find it crazy. Like, there's this thing about like ubiquity in certain brands. Like, you don't have to have ever played a Mario game to be able to pick him out of a line. That one's Mario. I could tell because the M on his hat. You know, no, like, but with Goku, it's like, for whatever reason, I don't know what introduced it to me. You know what I mean? I don't have any idea, but I distinctly remember the first thing I ever saw was Tree of Might. I rented Tree of Might from Blockbuster or Hollywood Video or something on VHS. And then I feel like I wouldn't have picked it up. Like, I already knew that it was Goku. And I don't know where that came from. You know what I mean? Just like I don't know how, you know, my kids know who some characters are that they've never played the games or have any idea about. You know what I mean? So anyway, I just think it's nuts. But yeah, for me, I watched it on VHS, and that was the primary way that I consumed Dragon Ball content for the longest time. Like, I have a massive collection of the VHS tapes. My parents maybe buy the censored ones, which I gotta tell you, there's not much censored. Like, they're very slightly. It's mostly, you would hardly even notice what's been censored because there's not a lot to censor from Dragon Ball Z versus original Dragon Ball, which has a lot of lewd shit in it, which is why Green Line likes it more. Let's be honest. But when it came to the censored versions, I think all they really took out was they changed some blood. Like, if somebody got punched in the stomach and blood came out of their mouth, they would turn it into saliva, right? That's basically the censorship. Or like in the censored version of Tree of Might, which is not how I originally watched it, but the TV edit has like where Turles is holding Gohan's eyes open to look at the moon or whatever. And in the censored version, they lowered his hands down to his waist so that it wouldn't be as child abusey, right? And stuff like that. So anyway, it was an okay way to watch it, right? And the one thing that I've always been really disappointed with is the fact that when it came to how they dubbed it, rather than dub an uncut track and a censored track, they basically just used the censored track for both, which I was really unfortunate. I hated that. When I was a kid, I got so excited about watching the history of Trunks, which Trunks is my favorite character in the series. And I was watching the history of Trunks with my brother, and there's a part when Trunks and Gohan are like getting beat up by the androids, and Trunks yells at Android 18, "You witch." And my brother and I are like, haha, I better know what he says in the uncensored version. He doesn't say "you bitch." It says "you witch" in the uncensored version. I was like, God damn it, I cannot fucking believe this shit. Because like they fucking put Pantera and all that new metal in the movies. I'm like, you couldn't give me a couple F-bombs, you know?
I remember when I was a kid, and you know the internet was new, and we found like clips on or episodes on like LimeWire and shit, and they were like fan subtitled, and they would throw in like idiot. Fucking bitch and all that.
That was a
stuff.
Major thing when I was a kid. That was like an urban legend that when Goku killed Frieza in the uncut version, he said, "Die, you fucking idiot." And to this day, I just think to myself, how did anybody believe that? Like, you fucking idiot. That's not even an insult. Like,
if the fan subs were using that subtitling, then
No,
I mean,
I'm just saying, like the people, like it's not actually a good line, like
no.
"die you fucking monster" or something, but die, Baka, you know, like just seems so stupid.
But so then I also got introduced to the movies at one point where I think it was World's Strongest.
I got source.
No, it was the Dead Zone. And Gohan like pees on Krillin's head.
No.
I
I was
You
gonna
don't-
say
you
no
don't remember
wonder
that?
you like. I was gonna say no wonder you like the Garlic Jr. saga, right?
Oh.
Because your first introduction to the series was the Dead Zone.
Well, not the series, but the movies.
Well, yeah, but your first introduction to the series of Dragon Ball, encompassing the show and the movies, and like to the franchise, I guess.
I was introduced to the movies after I was already into Dragon Ball.
Okay. Never mind. So anyway, you were talking about Gohan pissing on Krillin.
I think I even saw Dead Zone after the Garlic Jr. saga. So it was like, oh, this is what these guys were talking about when I watched it.
Yeah, it's so out of place, that saga, because of that.
Well, yeah, because that filler saga like makes you like they assume you know what the fuck's going on. Yeah.
Yeah, and
and they don't even tell you what happened.
The movie canon, right? Yeah, it doesn't make fucking sense.
Anyway, but yeah, so
you were saying about Gohan pissing on Krillin. I'm not gonna let you get away from it.
Yeah, you like that part?
Yeah, I watched Gohan piss on Krillin, and I was like, along with the context of seeing the images of the subtitle saying "fucking shit."
Yeah.
I was like, holy crap! Like, this series was not meant for kids in Japan, clearly.
Yeah. Well, yeah, with young teen Trunks or whatever, like the non-future version of him, like flipping off Broly, also pissing on Broly's head, right? That also happens.
I don't remember that
one. In regards to the movies, I remember one summer when I was down at my mom's, I downloaded like all the Dragon Ball Z movies in MP4s and watched them all on my iPod in my room.
If you watch my video on Duo and I went to the premiere of Dragon Ball Super Broly, and I kind of got a little bit of all of this out of my system by talking about like my history with the series. And I talked about downloading, like literally back in the day, tying up my parents' phone lines by downloading like 10-second clips from Dragon Ball movies, right? And it would literally like 4 hours at minimum to download something on dial-up. And I'd tie up my parents' phone lines to try to download these clips. And I had this collection of these Dragon Ball clips I would download and save on floppy disks, and I still have them all. And in my Broly video, I talked about it, and I used the actual file that I downloaded as a kid in that video as the B-roll when I'm talking about it. And the video is so fucking small that the one you're looking at in the video that I did is like this big, and it's double the size of the original video. Like I scaled it up because it was so goddamn small. So that'll give you an idea of just sort of what it was like growing up, getting access to the internet and using it. Like most of my childhood on the internet was spent looking at Dragon Ball Z wallpapers. You know what I mean? Like I don't know, like I was tickled to find out when I met my wife that she also did this, but I had a binder of images from Dragon Ball Z that I found
printed off,
printed out.
Yeah. Yes, I did the exact same thing. Oh my god!
I didn't have a binder; I had a folder.
Yeah, so
with
I didn't do any of that shit.
Oh man, like Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. It's like I had a big. I can't remember all the characters, but it was like I'm pretty sure it was Super Saiyan 2. Maybe it was Super Saiyan Gohan, but anyway, and like Vegeta and Trunks, and it had a picture of all of them, and I was like, that picture's so fucking cool.
Yeah.
I need to print it off.
Yeah, well, just like, I mean, as an artist, following Toriyama's work was just goddamn. I mean, so when we talked about Miura's death, I talked about how like Miura had a pretty significant impact on me growing up as an artist, right? Because the style of artwork and the anatomy, especially that he did, like really, I guess, directed sort of my approach to things. But fuck, man, Toriyama a million times more, than Miura.
Yeah.
Like, I think Miura is a fucking incredible artist in terms of, you open up a goddamn 2-spread panel and he's got like fucking 30 horses, and it's like behind in the background there's like
you can spend like
castles.
15 minutes.
It's just fucking unbelievable. But that's not how I draw.
Yeah, you can spend 15 minutes looking at every single spread and just looking at all the details.
Yeah, and it's like, if I drew with a pen, he might have influenced me more. You know what I mean? But I drew with a pencil and whatnot, so I didn't. It's not like I didn't have the guts to do what Miura did. And I think that Toriyama, far and away, like I was gonna save this for later. Let's see if I have it. I'll just verbalize it. My brother and I had a like one of those Prima strategy guides or something for one of the Dragon Quest games, and I spent so many hours looking at the pages that are just like the items in the game that Toriyama drew, like every suit of armor you can get in the game, which when you wear it does fuck all to change your appearance. He drew every single one of them in the and it got put into the guidebooks and whatnot. And it was just like, that was such a goddamn inspiration to me, looking at like the way he drew suits of armor and stuff, and like trying to not necessarily copy it, but like try to understand the forms he was creating and stuff, and draw similar things and come up with new designs based on ideas I was getting from looking at his work and everything.
Mirage says, I remember the DBZ Fusion Reborn Linkin Park AMV. Someone actually re-uploaded it to YouTube. It was actually one of the first AMVs I watched. Yeah, I used to watch a bunch of different AMVs of like Three Doors Down Kryptonite, Papa Roach's Last Resort, with Trunks like chopping up Frieza. Those AMVs were great. Yeah,
Drowning Pool,
Bodies.
Yeah. Countless fans shared condolences online and various tidbits in history from Toriyama's career. We've collected some of the most noteworthy posts here. So here's Akira Toriyama and his son Sasuke playing Dragon Quest in the late 1980s. Kishimoto named Sasuke after Toriyama's son, I'm guessing. May he rest in peace. Again, the most noteworthy are compiled here. Rip Akira Toriyama. You were so good at drawing fits, man, meaning outfits. The best to ever do it. Right? Rest in peace to a dude who shifted gears from drawing gag comics to riffing on wuxia/pro wrestling, and did it so well that he irreversibly altered at least 3 mediums for the next 40 years. How do you make Dr. Slump, making $1 gorillion off its massive success, then do Dragon Quest, do Dragon Ball, do fucking Chrono Trigger, all in one lifetime? All before the goddamn 2000s, right? Like, the man was operating on masterpiece levels that could potentially go unchallenged for lifetimes. I love this one. He was so real for this. Rest in peace, Toriyama, and thank you for everything. So if you don't know, this is Toriyama's self portrait. Like, this is how he draws himself and things. This is me in paradise. Cola, cigarette, nori senbei crackers, a model car, and a dirty magazine. I see. Yes. Yes.
So what I'm hearing is he was less Goku and more Master Roshi. It sounds like.
Guy makes a comic where he names everyone after vegetables and underpants, and everything is jokes, but he's so unbelievably powerful that it changes the world, creates multiple genres, touches billions of lives, and that's just one of the half dozen world-changing things he's done. Behold, the greatest character design of all time. I am not joking. We're going to look at that in a minute. That's fucking nuts. Akira Toriyama's influence on all forms of entertainment is virtually impossible to measure. His work and his various creations have influenced countless other creators and billions of fans across the world. Rest in peace, Toriyama Sensei. You'll be missed. Do you feel like Tien, Krillin, and Piccolo got cucked in Super after they kept giving Goku more and more forms? I think they got cucked in Z. The only one who came so they tried, right? Krillin was cucked all the way through. So this is how Toriyama gave them.
Actually, no. Krillin
Hold up, I got it. I'm gonna say it. You bitch, shut up. You have to do it in order. God damn it. So Piccolo got his due by fusing with Nail and taking on Frieza, and then later on fusing with Kami, right? Tien got his due because he got to do the fucking tri-beam and blast the shit out of Cell for like an entire episode. And Krillin got his due because he got with the babe, right? That's what you were going to say, I'm guessing?
Yeah, he got Android 18.
Krillin decided being the strongest didn't matter because he got the best pussy, right?
Oh, no.
Vibrates.
Yeah. Tien holding off Cell for 8 fucking hours while 18 just stood there. Yeah. The fact that 18 watched Tien do that and still got with Krillin instead of Tien shows how much of a Chad Krillin must be. Proportionately to his body, he's got the biggest dick in the whole series. Oh, okay. So, now that we're caught up,
Hero to all short, bald men.
Yep. So Yusuke Murata, the artist who did the redrawings of One Punch Man for the manga, said, "There were many things that I received from Toriyama Sensei, the ones which only he could give. I pray that he may rest in peace. Strangely," yeah, this is it, "I don't feel like he's passed away at all. Perhaps because for me, he was almost like a star in the heavens even before he died. That, of all the shit I read preparing for this podcast, that resonates with me the most. Like it doesn't feel like he's gone because it felt like he was gone already because Dragon Ball has gone in the toilet." So, no, but it does kind of feel like that, right? Like he was already like he had already reached his final form. So early on. Anyway, somebody posted a thread of a bunch of mangakas drawing Dragon Ball characters, right? So this is the one by the Tokyo Ghoul author. Here's Jim Lee, who did All-Star Batman and Robin and Batman Hush. Here's Tite Kubo of Bleach. Definitely has a style you can tell, like fucking Piccolo looks. It's raping time. Next time on Dragon Ball Z. Here's Kishimoto, who draws Naruto. One Piece, Eiichiro Oda. Some of these have such an established style that you could really fucking tell it's theirs, So here's Horikoshi of My Hero Academia. Again, you can really tell, but it looks great. He kind of looks like Deku, right? The way that he's drawn. Seeing Horikoshi draw Goku in this way kind of almost brings a bit of that Goku spirit into the characters that he draws, most specifically Deku and whatnot, right? From My Hero Academia. So here's Yusuke Murata of One Punch Man, also known as perhaps the actual greatest artist who's ever lived. Does not look so good here. Like it's like this is the least good drawing I've ever seen him do. Still decent, but the GOAT, right? Anyway, here's Togashi of Hunter x Hunter. And here is the Chainsaw Man author. And then this is Demon Slayer creator Gotoge Koyoharu.
Damn, did a good job on Bulma.
Wow, she looks even younger than Trunks.
Yeah.
Okay, Dandadan, which honestly, like, fuck, holy fuck! Like, if you're gonna do a tribute to Toriyama, like
I like
this is
Goku's face.
this is the most elaborate tribute that like really encapsulates, I think, what made Toriyama great. Toriyama was a fucking incredible mechanical designer, right? And I think that that's overlooked a lot, right? On how incredible he was as an artist. So we've got here Dragon Quest, Arale from Dr. Slump. We got the actual Senbei or whatever his name is from Dr. Slump. Obviously, we got Goku and Krillin and Bulma. And Frog from Chrono Trigger. There's Toriyama's like self portrait guy, and then these two characters are from Dr. Slump as well. Here is the Assassination Classroom author. I don't think it was hard for you to tell. Here's the Food Wars guy. I mean, it's not a bad drawing, but it's not one you'd look at and go like, oh, that's Food Wars guy. You know what I mean? Like you would with Oda. So here's Kentaro Yabuki. And so here's Takeshi Obata, the artist for Death Note. Hirohiko Araki of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Now, for a minute, I thought, what's going to happen when he dies? But he's never going to die. He's immortal. We know this. He hasn't aged since the 1500s. Fucking vampire man. Also, that's a terrible goddamn drawing of Goku. He didn't even try. So here's Kazuki Takahashi of Yu-Gi-Oh! He's probably having a drink with Toriyama in heaven right now. Masakazu Katsura of Zetman.
Did you get anything by Mira?
No.
Oh.
I bet he did some. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't show everything. You know. I already regret showing these. Like, oh, here's Ultra Red Nakaba Suzuki. Fucking kill me. That reminds me. One of the memories I have of Dragon Ball Z. A guy I went to college with once made a Facebook post. It was, like Facebook had these things for a while where, like, retweet if you love Jesus, or like share if you kind of like if you love Jesus kind of thing, like just stuff. It was just gimmicks that were designed to create engagement. Like, who would win in a fight between Superman and Goku? Like for Superman, heart for Goku. It literally is just a way to create engagement on the post so that you can then say, look at how much engagement I get on my post. Don't you want to pay me to promote your product? Right? It's literally all that shit is, right? So a post, something like that had happened or whatever. And my friend from college had posted a thing about Goku doing a spirit bomb. And it said something like, X number of years ago today, this episode of Dragon Ball Z aired. And it was like during the Buu saga, right? When Goku defeats Buu with a spirit bomb or whatever. And the post said, like, share or repost or whatever if you're not ashamed to admit that you stood in front of the TV, putting your hands up, giving your power to Goku or whatever. And I replied to it with, yeah, I did it, but only after Hercule asked me to, right? Like, because if you remember in Dragon Ball, what happens is not enough people are doing it.
Who the fuck is Goku?
Yeah, I remember like King Kai or whatever has him like telepathically speak to the whole world. And like, who the fuck is this guy, right? And then Hercules says, hey, everyone, it's the champ. I'm going to ask you to give your power to Goku. Anyway,
that was a great impression.
So here's Koshi Rikto of Excel Saga, and Nobuhiro Watsuki of Rurouni Kenshin. I mean, at least Goku's not having sex with the baby, right? Or whatever. Hideaki Sorachi of Gintama. You'll notice the more of them I close, the faster they load. Mikio Ito of Normandy Secret Club, which I've never fucking heard of. Hiroyuki Asada of Letter B. Kenjiro Takashita of Happy World. No, that's right. This is the final one. They saved the best for last. Also, shout out to Launch, long forgotten best girl. This person. Now, some of these, I don't know if they're becoming tongue in cheek. Oh my God, his influence never ends. So obviously in the early edition of Dragon Ball, like when the earliest volumes, Bulma shows up and throws the capsule from Capsule Corp, right? And it pops out, and that's the little home that they live in. This is, I think, this is the home that Goku wakes up and goes, "What? No balls!" Right?
Yeah.
And
classic scene.
This is
That was
Kirby's-
another scene that I was introduced to through Kazaa or LimeWire because they got edited out.
I saw it in the manga at the comic book store that was directly below the church I went to.
Nice.
Every Sunday I would go to the comic book store and buy a comic book after church, and I remember deciding I couldn't buy Dragon Ball because holy fuck, I would literally be lynched if my parents ever found out what was in some of those pages, right? But Dragon Ball Z was safe, kind of thing. But yeah, so and also like I love this. Well, I'm off to Dreamland, right? It's like fucking Kirby's Dreamland, right? Just a coincidence there, but still. And then they also said, I'm probably stupid, but I just realized Toriyama's self-Sona is what the Sniffits from Mario are directly based off of. I don't know about that. It's literally just a goddamn gas mask, right? But the more I dig deep into his creations, the more I realize, damn, what didn't this guy influence in Japanese media? So obviously he's influenced here by Alien, right? The H.R. Geiger design for the Xenomorph, which he also used in Frieza, one of his forms. So this is Robot Man. I forgot the name. I forget the name. It's got a really cringe, stupid name in Mega Man 8 or whatever that was. Anyway, so this person says, "Hold the fuck on." So these are characters from Dr. Slump.
I think this is a joke.
No. So they say these are characters from Dr. Slump, and these were placeholder enemies in Sonic when they were still like building it out or whatever.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, I've never seen that Sonic enemy in my life.
Yeah. So he says, for those who don't quite get it, this is from the Dr. Slump crossover episode in Dragon Ball. Dr. Slump had major influence on Sonic. You can even tell by the title screen. So when I saw that character, it immediately reminded me of that prototype Goblin enemy, right? And then Kaylin Ramos, shout out, said Mario and Sonic both have a common evolutionary ancestor, the goat, Arale-chan. So the same run cycle, effectively, and the title sequence here, right? Kaylin Ramos goes on to say, Akira Toriyama
also Supersonic.
By the way, that's from like 2023. Yeah, exactly. Supersonic. Thank you for bringing that up. I almost forgot. Super Saiyan, Supersonic, right? Like it's fucking the same thing, you know? Akira Toriyama's influence on pop culture across all mediums is incalculable and will continue to echo throughout time. One of the greatest in any field.
Also, the 7 Chaos Emeralds, 7 Dragon Balls.
No, it is like, and literally like Knuckles is Piccolo, Shadow is Vegeta, what's his name? Silver is Trunks, right? In terms of like the storyline stuff about all of it. Yeah. No, it's 100%. It's kids. It's the kid friendly DBZ, you know? So a lot of talented hands went into making the OG Dragon Quest games, but it was Akira Toriyama's fun and cute designs that made them so approachable and marketable. This is what popularized RPGs on consoles in Japan, and one could argue that might not have happened without Toriyama. Just look at this, and then look at what was happening with Final Fantasy with Yoshitaka Amano. Like, it's a whole different art style. Like, I mean, it's so fucking different that, like, Kaylin is spot on here, that it required this type of friendly approach that made them marketable for it to become the success that it became, because a kid can pick this up. And even though it's not necessarily entirely kid friendly, and like I wouldn't let my kids experience some aspects of, like, fucking Jessica's dress is showing practically everything in Dragon Quest VIII. Like I wouldn't necessarily let my kids play it at, like, you know, super young age, but maybe for the NES versions it might have been a little bit, you know, doable. But it's just like, that is what a kid will gravitate towards this. It feels grown up to them, but to their parent feels kid appropriate. You know what I mean? Like, it feels like, oh, he's got a sword and he's a warrior and everything. You'd be excited about it as a kid, but your parent would look at it and think, yeah, you can play this. It's not too violent. Like, it doesn't look too mature, the way that Yoshitaka Amano's art for Final Fantasy has like this watercolor effect to it that just, it feels mature. You know, maybe not mature as in lewd, but it feels too sophisticated for a child. There has never been a more important glow up in history than the sketch Yuji Horii gave Akira Toriyama for Slimes and Dragon Quest versus what Toriyama sent back. This is the drawing that they sent him, like, all right, can you create a character? This is going to be our most common enemy, the slime. Slime. Fucking legend. Can you design a gross slime monster for our dungeon crawler game? No, but I can design an iconic, cute little guy that will generate unlimited money and live forever. Also, a reminder that even your influences have influences. The best way to pay your respects is to keep it going. So let's keep it going. You never know who you might inspire. So, this was Jackie Chan at his peak. And so much of how Jackie Chan worked his martial arts films, emphasizing creativity and humor over realism, inspired Toriyama. Without Jackie Chan, there would be no Dragon Ball. But it goes even further. The reason Toriyama's editor suggested he make a martial arts manga was because he kept watching Jackie Chan movies while drawing. So anyway, I don't want to bother reading this, but basically the point is, there's actually a more to this story. I thought we were going to get it here. I saw another post where Toriyama was influenced by Jackie Chan, but then Jackie Chan actually was influenced by Toriyama and started taking stuff that Toriyama was doing and working it into his movies in the way that he sort of approached things. And look at, like, you know, Jackie Chun in the martial arts tournament when Master Roshi puts on the wig. It's like there's all sorts of stuff like drunken boxing, and there's so much shit in Dragon Ball that is direct references of Jackie Chan, especially. Just for time, let's move past this though. This person mentioned, let's not forget how much of an impact Akira Toriyama had on our entire media landscape. Without him, the Booyah Bomb wouldn't exist from Splatoon. And then I saw this. This blew my mind. In the French version of Pokemon, on the TV in Red's room, Ash's room, right when you first start playing, it says Goku is on an adventure, right? Like it's like it's describing a scene of Dragon Ball on the TV in his room. And then later on in Pokemon, I guess a character is named Mustard, who does like a Master Roshi style, blast kind of Kamehameha, but with a Pokeball. Show's gotten weird, or the games have gotten weird. I've been checked out for a while. And then this is not by any stretch of the imagination an exhaustive list of the amount of references, but I thought just to showcase it, right? Powerpuff Girls referencing, I think this is the first Broly movie. Kids Next Door with like a Super Saiyan, landscape thing, which also you could see in the comments there. Uh-oh, where'd it go? Right here, like just the absolutely fucking ridiculous shit, right? And then Billy and Mandy doing like a martial arts tournament thing with the hair like that. This was the Channel Chasers episode or movie, I think, of
Fairly Odd Parents.
Fairly Odd Parents, right? It has like Dragon Ball inspired things in it. Chowder, is that this show? I didn't watch the show.
I think so. Yeah, I don't watch it either. But yeah,
right.
for sure.
Teen
Titans Go.
Right, and then Robot Chicken.
Raj says it was Gumbo.
Oh,
Gumbo.
Okay.
I don't watch them. And then, of course, this is Assassination Classroom. And then whatever the fuck. We can move past this.
I think that one was Chowder.
Here, I think that's the end. I'm going to move past it. We're going to keep going. All right. The Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 community pays tribute and respects to Akira Toriyama. Thank you for everything. And then not only, you expect this, right? This is a Dragon Ball game, right?
Yeah.
But apparently, Final Fantasy XIV's community is also showing Akira Toriyama some love. Across multiple worlds, people are gathering, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce that, to pay tribute to Akira Toriyama. So many Dragon Ball cosplays, slime hats, and bards playing songs from the anime. So, I mean, I don't know if you've ever played on a server with your friends. It is fucking impossible to get anybody to stand still and do something like this. Like, just like, you can't get 5 fucking people to calm down so you can explain the goddamn game you're going to play in Minecraft, right? Getting a community to come together and organically just do this is fucking insane. There's the slime head. This almost reminds me of Summer Wars, right? When they all the accounts come together.
Mm-hmm.
So then there's also this, and I just want I would
that's probably a homage to the Spirit Bomb.
I want to play this for you. Legend, right? Fucking Broly over here playing Chala, head Chala on the harp. I wonder how hard it was to actually get the game to do that. And then Dr. Slump or Raleigh-chan in the background. All right. Anyway, we're almost there. Okay. And now the worst take. You remember Chris Kindred from Sweet Baby Inc. Toriyama gave us the best and worst black characters in anime in the same series. It took range to do that. Way to capitalize on the tragedy of Akira Toriyama's death to spout more woke nonsense. Fucking bravo to you. You know, to which, don't worry, I archived it. Toriyama's worst characters are better written than the best Sweet Baby Inc. characters.
Yep.
And then this person said, today at Fuji TV Anime Lineup 2024, the host closed the show by saying, let's shoot a Kamehameha aimed at Akira Toriyama-san, who's in heaven. But then Masako Nozawa said jokingly, right now? But what if we end up destroying the whole place? Then the whole crowd shot a Kamehameha. All right, so this one, this is where I want to end this. Akira Toriyama's final comments from December 2023. Akira Toriyama was announced to have won the Lifetime Achievement Award at the Tokyo Anime Award Festival 2024 on December 14, 2023. So that's when he was announced to be receiving it, right? He was supposed to receive the award on stage during the festival from March 8th to 11th.
He just didn't want to go.
They announced his death on the 8th in Japan. So instead of receiving the award, they're like, I'm here to accept on behalf of Toriyama, who's dead! You know? However, we do have his comments on winning the award revealed in the pamphlet of the award show. Following is the translation. To be honest, I have never had much interest in anime. And even when my work was made into animated format, I feel embarrassed to admit that I did not watch much of it. Apologies to the staff. About 10 years ago, out of the blue, I was asked to revise the script for the Dragon Ball animated film, and I drew some simple designs for the characters and backgrounds. I thought, I can leave the difficult parts for the staff. As I said, nobody thought he was going to die anytime soon because he didn't seem eager to jump into any hard work. Thus, it is truly embarrassing that I am the recipient of the Tokyo Anime Award Festival's Lifetime Achievement Award. Thank you very much. One of my most unforgettable memories in animation works is when I met the late animator Toyo Ashida for an anime project called Kosuke-sama Rikimaru-sama, which was produced for the Shonen Jump original. This project did not have a manga, so a meeting was held. He was an amiable person, and we quickly bonded. And every time I saw his drawing style, I was moved by his careful and swift touch. I thought, all right, I guess this kind of touch I need to speed up. I guess this is the kind of touch I need to speed up the drawing process and make Dragon Ball look much smoother. The drawing time was reduced to about 2/3 of what it used to be. We influenced each other in many ways, and I think it was a truly fulfilling time. I pray for the repose of Ashida-san's soul. Okay. Dragon Ball Daima, which will be rolled out in 2024, was originally planned to be an original anime series without me. But as I gave advice here and there, I ended up getting deeply involved with the project without realizing it. I was not only involved in the overall story, but also in the worldview, character design, mechas, and other aspects. I hope you will enjoy watching the series, which I believe is not only intense and action-packed, but also full of plenty of substance. I almost feel like the studio submitted this statement to try to bump up interest in that portion. Like he didn't say any of that paragraph. They just kind of added that to really try to sell. Oh yeah, Toriyama's involved, just like Broly movie, right? So finally, I would like to thank everyone who has supported me so far. I am not sure how much more I can do, as I am not very confident about my health. Probably due to my lifestyle when I was younger. But I will try my best to create more interesting pieces of work, so please continue to support me. Do you think he knew he was going to die?
Well, I mean, he might have had, like, if he had a brain bleed, he might have had other conditions that put him in hospital that we just didn't hear about, right? And so
when he says probably due to my lifestyle when I was younger, maybe he means smoking. You know,
I think he had lung cancer. That was unannounced.
I don't know. Who knows?
I think if he had I think if he had cancer, they would have just said cancer.
Dragon Ball Daima previously was going to be a web anime, and now it's actually going to be a TV anime.